Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are. It is 10:30 here where we are because we are now in Arizona. So it's 10:30 here. Who knows what time it is where you are? Maybe say hello and comment. Let us know what time it is where you are. Maybe we'll say good morning, good afternoon, but I do have a hot drink here. So
hallelujah.
Good morning or hello, happy Free Friday to all of you. And I'm curious, we are in Arizona now, but we haven't busted out the flip-flops.
No. You kept saying that we were going to, as soon as we hit Arizona, you were going to bust out the flip-flops. And I kept thinking, you haven't checked the weather lately, have you?
So have you ever traveled for 2 days straight? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I traveled for 2 days straight, hair and clothing.
It's the same clothing I had on yesterday. So just woke up and put it back on. And
so I know we're going to get into some goodness today, but we had quite the travel day yesterday. Did we not?
It was pretty exciting.
I mean, we've been traveling now full time for 9 months, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so we've had quite a bit of traveling experiences now, driving experiences. But yesterday, would you say may have topped?
Yesterday was a pretty stressful day of travel for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started off with me
last night, right? It started off last night, really.
Well, yeah, kind of started off. The night before.
The night before last.
Yeah.
Because we arrived to a brand new place. At a Boondockers welcome, lovely family who welcomed us to let them park in their backyard, so to speak.
Yep.
Dirt pad in a desert area that never rains.
High mountain desert.
Except for the night when we arrived. It was raining.
It rained the entire night. And so.
And the next morning.
As we were pulling in, she said, now it's only rained for like 30 minutes today, so it's not going to be a problem. And then all night long it rained. And
then the next morning, it's bad news when one of the owners of the home says, hey, if you need it, I've got a bulldozer for you.
Yeah, to help you out.
To help you get out.
Because we were in 4 inches of clay and mud. So, yeah, it did not go very well. There were a couple times where we did get stuck and then kind of worked our way out. And then eventually got out to the pleasure of driving for 6 hours in rain.
Yeah. Hey, Arlene. Oh, so it's 11:30 there for you. So right now, Arizona's a little backwards. They do their own time frame. So right now, we are only an hour behind you. Although I think we were 2 hours behind you for a little bit of the year.
Yeah.
Arizona time. Okay, so. Oh, you know what? I have the. So what's our first tip for everybody?
Well, first, I want to, I heard a great quote, and this guy talked about this. He said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so I want us to think a little bit about the future that we're creating and what it is that you're going to be doing. So, you talk about your 1-year plan, your 5-year plan. For some of us, it's a 1-day plan that we hope will accomplish. But I want us to think about kind of how it is that we are creating our future. And can we do a quick recap of the last four?
Yeah, because we've been doing a series over the last 4 weeks. So
for the last 4 weeks, well, including this week, we've talked about acts of greatness. And it was a little bit of a play on words. So we had acts as ACTS, and we started off with admiring people. So we said, don't be the smartest person in the room, right? And the understanding.
It's fun for a little bit.
Yeah, it can be, which can be super feed your ego, but it's certainly not the best way to be the best version of yourself. And so the idea is that we want to reach out for greatness by surrounding ourselves with people that we admire, right? So that was A, is admire. And then C, act. C was to confess. And Ty Lovett was that one time that I was wrong, right?
That one time I left the water in the pot.
That one time I left the water in the pot. That one time, yeah, just a little inside joke from this morning. But so that one time that I did that one thing. But just the humility of admitting our mistakes and weaknesses, right? that all of us are weak. We all have areas of our lives that need improvement, for sure.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to admit that. And that's what confession is. Confessing is nothing more than admitting a weakness or a mistake. And it is the bravest thing you're going to do. It's the hardest thing you'll do sometimes, but it is absolutely a necessity for you in achieving and in reaching greatness. We have a friend that talks about doing the thing you're good at, like living in your zone of genius. And part of that is seeing the areas that you need help in and getting help in those areas. So that's confess. So admire, confess, thankfulness, the I heart you. I heart you.
I heart you.
I heart you. And so it is an attitude of gratefulness. We talked about being grateful for the things around us, and that's a choice that we make. We also talked about the fact that it's a choice that you make to have a grateful attitude, to have a grateful heart, and how that totally changes your outlook and your mentality toward life in general. When you start to practice being grateful for things, then your entire life changes. It changes your whole life.
So today, the last one is S, supplication. The if only.
If
only. If only. The big ask, right? Striving for the big things as if it were real. And so we're going to start out today in this Acts of Greatness. This is the last in this series on supplication. Big word for today.
Mm-hmm.
Check mark.
Check that one off your list.
But we're going to fart off. We're going to fart off. We're not going to fart.
What did we have for
We're going to
last night?
start off with the definition of supplication.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, so that I had to look it up, really. But it's when you ask or beg for something earnestly or humbly. So to humbly ask for something is to supplicate. And so, and I'm just going to kind of take a step back here. And we got this little acronym, the ACTS, from a prayer guide that we go through sometimes individually or together, to adore, admire God, to confess our sins to him, to thank him for things in our lives, and then to ask him. And so that is kind of a prescription for a way to pray, to keep your mind focused as you pray, is to think through those four things: admire, confess, thanks, and supplicate. And so yesterday we spent 16 hours in the car with our kids, and well, actually it was only 6, but it felt like 16. And part of the reason is because our kids are audaciously brave at the ask. Have you ever noticed that? How your kids have no qualms with asking you for anything. Dad, can I have a rifle for my birthday? Can I have a car?
Can I have a sword?
Can I have a sword? Is that okay? Can I have a sword? Can I have a rocket ship? Hey Dad, can you build me a rocket? I mean, they will ask
I'm 6 years old, but can I drive your car?
Yeah, I'm good at driving a truck. Can I drive your truck? And so they are constantly asking for what they want. And it just happens over and over again. And they're so brave in what they ask for. Now, I know that as our kids get older, we have a tendency to finally manage to squelch that in our children. Shame on us, right? Today, we're going to talk about 2 big supplications that we need to be asking for. We need to, again, we talked about this in our last series, but we need to regain some of our childlike mentalities in the way that we approach things. And one of them is the way that we ask for stuff. Okay. So comment below. Tell us, what is something audacious that you have asked for?
Or maybe even your kids have asked for.
Mm-hmm.
We want to hear what is something that you have just taken some bravery and ask for, maybe to God, maybe to someone else, someone that you work with, or someone in your family, or your kids have asked for. We want to know about that. Hey, Bethany. Hey, you're in the same time zone with us. Welcome us to your state, Arizona.
Welcome to Arizona.
So for those of you who may be new joining us, my name is Amy Miller. I'm a wife to this guy who has a real life superhero, and he has really spent literally decades being mentored by award-winning coaches, and he has coached himself and mentored himself hundreds in sports and in life and in spiritual health and wellness. And this is our Free Friday. It's our weekly series. And I've asked Jim to join us in our last two series because he has so much value to share in these areas. And so we're just learning to live life more fully, more abundantly, and freely. And today we're going to have some amazing freedoms, free from want, free to wish and to hope and to dream. And if these are all maybe some forgotten concepts to you or something, go back and go over to our YouTube channel and at 3 Life Essentials, the number 3 Life Essentials, and you can see our whole series, our whole Free Friday series on dreaming. But free to take a leap. Yeah, take a leap. Do you like that one? What's your favorite freedom for today? Comment below. What's your favorite freedom in that? And do we want to still talk about the Prayermate app? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So those of you who are already joining us, we want to share with you a gift that we've shared a while back on Free Fridays, but it's been quite a while. And it's one of our favorite apps. Now this is on iOS and Android, and Jim's going to show you what it looks like here.
So you see the little icon, that's the yellow icon right there. It's kind of hard to see because of the darkness, but it's a Prayermate app. And basically it's a yellow background with hands that are praying. And
actually open it up in the Google Play Store. That'll be better. So it's hands that are praying. It's called Prayermate. And one of the ways that we love it, since we're talking about the ask, and many times when we're asking for things that are beyond ourselves, it's in a prayer, to be honest, because we are admiring God, someone who can do greater things than we can. And so there it is. That's what it looks like. There it is, Prayermate. So I love it because you can open it up and you can download specific prayers. You can type in people's names that you want to pray for. You can
create a list of things that you want to pray for. And it actually helps you, if there are some things that you want to pray for, it actually helps you build a prayer using scripture, using Bible verses.
Yeah, I love it. In fact, this time of year, there's even an Advent prayer list that you can download that will come into the Prayermate app as well. You can you can really customize it for you. And or even if you want to take the ACTS, and if you wanted to take each day, or if you wanted to go pray through those different the different acts that we've been going through, you can add that in there. So check that out. It's free. And
it's our favorite price.
Yep. I do think they have a paid version if you would like to back up all of your information and your prayer information on Dropbox or something,
or just want to support what they're doing.
Yeah, or just want to support what they're doing. This is a company. I think it's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit out of Great Britain.
Yes, in Great Britain, that's putting out some great content. So check that out. And so we're going to be talking about the 2 big asks. If only.
If only.
What?
If only.
If only.
If only.
What? Now, even if you're watching this on the replay or the recording, please put your comments below, your questions. Click the share button for somebody you think that would really benefit from this. Share this with your friends and family. Our kids are good examples, right?
Oh, man. They're so happy
of
to
being
ask
audacious
bravely,
and they're asking, right?
Audaciously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're great examples for us. But today we're going to talk about the 2 big asks and kind of break those down a little bit. So the two big asks are the inside ask, the inward ask, and the outward ask, right? So first is the inward ask. And really this one just now, I remember, it kind of reminded me of the immortal words of Garth Brooks that said that some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, right? And things that you have to actually look inward to see, right? So first off, before you want to start asking for things outwardly, you need to start asking inward questions of yourself. You have to say, one, is that really what I want? And is that the best thing, right? We have to look inside and say, I think that I want this, but let me examine it a little bit better to make sure that that's really what I want. You also have to kind of say in yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice for it? You know, when we talked about living on the road, there were sacrifices that we knew we would have to make. There are other sacrifices that have come along later that we just didn't. Oh man, I didn't really think through that. That's something we had to give up. Um, like a babysitter, we had to give up babysitters, and we have had one date night since we've been on the road. And so that's been a pretty big sacrifice. We don't get that time together where it's just her and I at Starbucks anymore. Now, there are other things that we have gotten in return for that. And so the question is not, can you do without this? But the question is, what am I willing to sacrifice to get what I want? Okay. And then the third thing that I would say, the inward question that you need to ask is, am I asking big enough? Okay. Because there's some things that you would say, oh man, the greatest thing ever would be this. But really, you need to take a bigger leap. You need to make a bigger jump in what you're asking for, because you haven't really asked for the big thing that you should be asking for.
So what about the outward ask?
So then the outward ask is to start off by asking God. So there's a great Bible verse that says that if you who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Right? So your kids come and ask you, hey, Dad, can I have a piece of bread? Or can I have some food? I'm hungry. 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 We get that a lot.
We get that a lot in our house.
That a lot. And I would never in a million years give my kids something poison when they ask for food. And I don't have a good heart. I mean, it doesn't take me 30 minutes to realize that my heart is awful, that I'm an evil person on the inside, that I need some help. But then God, who is good at his very core, how much more is he going to give good things to us when we ask him for them? So this has a way of bringing us into check, because one, it forces us to be humble, to approach God with humility about it. But then we also want to be sure that we're not asking God for something that we shouldn't ask him for. So it's going to help us to process that request and to think through it before we go to God with that request, to make sure that we're asking the right thing.
Mm-hmm. So, no.
Now, let's throw out practicality. So really, to throw out the practical sense of it, God has got the cattle on a thousand hills. The earth and is the Lord's and everything in it, right? So all of those things are his. So what do you need? God has it in spades, and then more of that than you could ever hope for, right? And he has people all over the earth that have got that thing. So you are asking the God who has every need that you could ask for, everything you could ever hope for. You know, when our kids come to us, we may not have the money for it, or it may not be in the budget, but that's not an issue with God. He has the budget for it. So first is to ask God. Second is to put away our limited belief about what we could get. And then third is that we need to start asking the people around us. If it's important to you, then it should be important to the people that find you important, right? And so those people that are kind of your inner circle, they could help. Now, it doesn't mean that they will help, but they might. They may not be in a position to, but they may be in a position to help. I remember when I was getting ready to go on a mission trip, and I was going to be traveling to Egypt, and it was expensive. The trip was expensive. And so I wrote letters and sent them out, and I had people that gave $10, and I had people that gave $20, but I had a person that gave me, paid for the whole trip. Like, he just wrote a check and paid for the whole trip. And so as you ask, I never would have imagined that he would have done that, but he did. He paid for the entire trip. And so as you're asking, there are some people that are just going to step up and do amazing things.
Yeah. And so I'm curious, is it harder to do a good job of asking yourself first, do you feel like, or asking others?
Mm. Yeah.
Think through that. Comment below. Put a 1 in the comments if it's harder for you to do a good job of asking yourself first, that inward ask, or a number 2 if it's harder for you to ask others. Now, most of us have been mulling over at least one ask through the course of this video. So, so our question to you is, what can you do to take that that ask from an ask to a phone call, to an action, right? To a phone call, maybe. So take that action. Now we're about to sign off, but next week we're going to be starting a brand new series. And I know I said we were going to be actually starting also broadcasting this on Instagram, but we will be starting that next week. And it's going to be a whole brand new series, cooking something up. Yeah.
We're cooking something up for you.
Now, we're going to be sharing some fun and easy ways that you can use your oils in the kitchen, as well as cooking up some goals and some plans for the new year, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's almost 2019. I know if that doesn't blow your mind, that was our blow your mind for this Free Friday. It's almost 2019. Okay. So thanks for joining us, you guys. We love and appreciate you, and we want to hear more of what you would like to know more about. And we'll see you guys. Who knows what time zone we're going to be in next week, but whatever time it is, we'll be coming to you around 10 o'clock. Actually, I think we may still be in this time zone. So, so you can set your clocks for around 11 if you're in Central Time Zone, or an hour behind if you're in Pacific. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.